I didn't make this little art print just because I wanted to make something cute. Hey friends, it's me, Shannon, and I am back for another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the process of how and why I made this print. I did create this digitally in Procreate, so you're watching the video that Procreate takes when you're creating something in their program. Anyways, so inspiration can spark from anywhere. And one of the things that I've discovered is that sometimes inspiration sparks and we need to make that thing right now. Sometimes inspiration sparks and we want to make that thing right now, but we have to wait. This is really where like my list of ideas comes in hot and heavy because I don't have the time in one day to make all of the ideas that come to me. Now, I know that not everyone is like this. Because I'm a manifesting generator, because I have a stellium in Aries, I am on fire with ideas all the time. So I do have a place where I keep them, where I write them down, because I cannot possibly do all of them at the same time. The thing is, sometimes those ideas never go any further than my list. But every once in a while, something will happen and I need to create. And that is what happened with this piece. So in September, I went to New England for a get together for my tradition so that we could celebrate the autumn equinox. It was an area of the US that I had not previously been, so that was really exciting to me. It was also in mountains, and one of the things you're going to find about me is I absolutely love the mountains. I feel so inspired to create when I'm in the mountains, and so that's where this area was. And on the first night that we were there, we all walked down to the docks because there was like a lake or some type of body of water at this camp that we were staying at. And so we walked down to the docks and we're sitting on the docks and we're chanting and we're singing and we're just fellowshipping with each other. And at one point someone was like, "Oh, you need to lay down because it's just beautiful." And so I laid down, everybody laid down. And we're looking up at this beautiful clear sky full of stars. And if you've never been to an area where there's not a lot of light pollution and you haven't seen just how full of stars the night sky is, I highly suggest that you take a trip, like even in somewhere as close as possible to you, a local state park or something like that, just somewhere where you can get away from the majority of light pollution so that you can just lay down and look up at the stars and on a clear night and see just how beautiful our galaxy, just how beautiful our universe is. We happened to be in a place where it was so clear that you could actually see the Milky Way. And that's not something that happens every day. I've only actually encountered that one other time, and I was in Wisconsin. But being able to lay down and look up and see the Milky Way is just an amazing experience. An experience that I want to grasp hold of and keep hold of. What I did was I'm just laying, I'm looking at the stars. I start seeing in the stars this pattern of what looks like a little baby octopus. Just a little baby octopus. You can't even see all of its tentacles. You can only see 3 or 4 of its tentacles. And it just is beckoning me. It's just calling out to me. And it wasn't something that I shared or discussed with anyone, but it just snatched me out of reality and was like, this is something that you need to do more with. And so when I got back to my room, I grabbed my iPad and I started sketching it out. And I started with the octopus itself. And I have a very intuitive way of creating. So I will start with my sketch. I will just start putting elements down wherever they feel like they should go. And that's exactly what happened with this particular piece is I made the octopus first, but then as I started creating the octopus, I was like, no, it needs to have a world. It needs to be really rich in symbols, and there needs to be a lot of elements around it and behind it. And so I just started putting things down where they felt right. I created a little portal to another universe behind him, because that I was so inspired by looking at the universe and the idea that when you really think about it, we're so small in the grand scheme of our universe. We are just tiny beings on this tiny little planet surrounding this tiny sun in this massive galaxy that is just one small galaxy amongst millions in our universe. And every once in a while, we forget about being the main character, and we remember that we can't even imagine how vastly big our universe is. But every once in a while, we get a glimpse into how massive, how beautiful our universe is, and how there are windows and portals to other places within our universe that we will likely never be able to see or explore, but it's really fun to imagine what they are like. I'm not a person who thinks a whole lot about whether there are extraterrestrials out there or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very, the audacity, I guess, the audacity for us to think that we are the only living things in this entire universe is astounding to me. And that's really what I made this piece, this art print, because of that tiny little glimpse into the vastness of our world, and the fact that there are so many things in our world, in our universe, that we are never going to be able to fully comprehend. And that idea works very well with my art, because that is the kind of art that I create. And I was so taken by this idea that I literally had my iPad in my hands for the rest of the weekend, drawing this piece out and coloring it and adding details every chance I had. At every workshop I went to, literally the only time that I think I was not working on this piece was when I was practicing or preparing for ritual. That was it. That was the only time. Every other moment I had my iPad with me, and I was working on how I could get this piece finished. And I want to say I looked at it, and I might put a correction here if I'm wrong, but I looked at the canvas information to see how long it took me to create this piece. And it was somewhere around 75 hours. This is the other thing. Art can be very deceptive, because we oftentimes don't realize how much of our time and energy we put into creating a piece. On the other end of it, you see this cute little adorable piece that I created on Procreate on my iPad in a digital format. And I think that there's a misconception that because it's created on your iPad, that means it's easy, you can whip something together in no time. And that's not accurate either. I think I spend more time on digital pieces than I do traditional pieces. Maybe not. I do spend a lot of time on traditional pieces too, but I don't have any way to measure that time, unless it's something that I am actually recording footage of me drawing it out, sketching it out, painting it or coloring it and adding details. And oftentimes I don't record my sketching process, because I understand why people want to see it. They want to see the process. They want to see the ideation that gets to the final piece. They want to see that it's created by a human. I really think that's what it is more than anything now, is people want to see the sketching process because they want to see that it's created by a human, right? But the problem with this is, if you're a creator, you probably understand this. When we are in that ideation phase, it is really hard for us to concentrate on anything else. You're really in it, and it's a very messy part of the process. You're trying to problem solve. So you're drawing something, and then you're erasing it, and then you're drawing, and then you're erasing, because things aren't working out, and you want to get it to a point where you're happy with it, which is why a lot of people start with a finished sketch when they're making videos or social media, because it is one of the hardest parts of the process. And there's absolutely no way to talk to someone, like maybe a better person could talk someone through it, but I have a really hard time talking through that process. I need to be able to just focus. And that means not paying attention to a camera recording me, not trying to talk through it, whatnot. Luckily, when I have Procreate captures all of it in video, so you do have the full process of me creating this. You see a finished product, you see the final print, but I wanted to create this video to help people understand there is so much time, thought, energy, inspiration behind every print you see that's created by an artist. Also a reason why AI will never beat out true artists, because they don't have that, like AI doesn't have that process. It's just a computer. Even if it starts creating something that looks good, okay, even if it creates something that looks good, it doesn't have that soul behind it. It doesn't have that blood, sweat, and tears of the artist behind it. I really hope that you enjoyed this process, seeing this process, seeing me talk through it. If you enjoyed it, let me know, because I would love to create more videos where I'm explaining my process and my thoughts behind it. If you enjoy this print, let me know. I will have a link in my bio where you can purchase it on my Etsy. But also, I want you to know how, to me, this print is pure magic, because it has all of the intention and energy of that entire weekend in it. If you're a witchy person, this print carries that energy of community and just how big our world is and how wonderful it is for us to be here. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you're not already subscribed, maybe leave a comment and tell me any questions you have about this process, or if you've had similar experiences, tell me about that too. And I just want to thank you all. I am so very grateful for you all being here. And I want you to know that I love all of you. And I can't see everyone that's subscribed to me. I can only see that you're subscribed to me if you share your subscriptions publicly or if you comment. I just want you to know that your energy is here and it is felt, and I love you and I appreciate it. Thanks so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.